So today I'm going to talk about how you are not your stress. And interestingly, I've had an experience recently where I could really feel something arising in my body and then kind of noticing it passing through. So my office has a patio door over there. And I was just working away at my desk and I heard a kerfuffle outside. Such a great word, that, isn't it? Kerfuffle. I heard a kerfuffle outside. I could hear a cat making cat-like noises, but I could hear a little bird squeaking. And I went to the window and banged on the window to scare the cat off and then couldn't see the bird. Then the bird popped out and was hopping against wanted to come in our house, really. I think it had realised that it'd probably be safer. Very clever bird, eh? Thought it'd be safer to be in the house than out the house. But what I noticed about that is that then the bird sort of just got on with his day, went hopping off across the garden. And I thought, humans don't do that, do we? It's almost like that sensation, the bird experience, to flee from the cat, to get away, to get into our house, do what it even needs to do to get away from the cat. Once the cat was gone, that experience was finished for the bird. But it's not like that for us, is it? Because we're very attached to our thoughts and emotions. We almost don't allow the weather to pass through. Really, absolutely, when something is really happening in the moment, there is going to be some response in the body. Most of that will happen very automatically. It's that we hold on to the thoughts afterwards. We worry about those things. We ruminate about them. We go off into the future. We go off into the past. And we get very caught up in our thinking. And for a while after this thing happened with the bird, I could feel myself I was thinking, worrying about the bird. Is the bird okay? Could I have done more to help the bird? Did I do enough? But seeing myself doing that, seeing that all of it was passing through. I mean, time is never still, is it? So reality is always moving on. But can you see how the stress that you're experiencing, that too is always moving on? People say, I'm so stressed at the moment. And, the next minute they're watching something on telly and laughing about it, because they're not, as soon as we're not thinking about the stuff, it's all just moving through. It's really important to see that we are not our thoughts or our emotions, but we kind of attach words to that, don't we? I feel stressed. All the time we'll say, I probably would have said that at one point. But we don't, do we? Because it's always shifting and always changing. And also what's underneath that is not always shifting and changing. Thoughts and busy-mindedness and the sensations that come with that are always shifting and changing. Yet that's the thing that we think is permanent. The language we use and the language society uses and all those things kind of seem to point to that. But I'm just seeing this sort of fresh right now, that we're literally looking the wrong way. Because the permanent part, the permanent thing, is this underlying peacefulness. That's always a thought away. You might have seen this for yourself where, you caught up in something, really busy-minded, and then a colleague makes you laugh or shows you a silly video or cat video, whatever, and suddenly you're laughing and you're feeling light. Or that thing I shared in the last video, Friday afternoon, we're all thinking about the weekend and not thinking about work, and then we suddenly feel calmer. Sunday night, we feel more stressed because we're thinking about work again. But all of that isn't you, really. What's true all the time, as the thinking flows in and out and changes and moves and is always moving, is that underneath all that thinking, the essence of you, the awareness, the centeredness, the clarity, the calm, that is always there. Now, what I found to be helpful on this journey, with this journey with the three principles, the main thing is we understand that we know these things. We know that we are not our thoughts and emotions. We know that well-being is never more than a thought away. We know that our sensations are guiding us to let us know about our state of mind. But sometimes in the moment, we could do with a little reminder, I think. And for me, the most helpful reminder is to stop. Because the mind is always, when we're stressed, the mind is often saying, go faster, do more, get more things done. And when you've got all those things done, then you will have earned your access to calm and you can have it. You can have it, but only after you've worked to the point where you are in pieces, in my particular case, at burnout. But what if that was literally a breath away, literally a thought away? And so for me, what pausing looks like is, and it has to come from this place of awareness, is becoming aware that I am emotionally off center, that I'm discombobulated in some way. There's tension, there's tightness, there's sometimes a feeling in the pit of my stomach, like a sicky feeling. And then to just pause, to just take a breath, to feel my feet on the floor, and to take a nice deep breath. There's something very powerful about our nervous system, that it responds really well to big breaths. Because when you're stressed, you're breathing up here in the top of your throat. Almost sometimes it feels like you're like breathing just in your throat. I'm sure you can't be doing that because you probably would still be here. But, it feels very tight in the chest. It feels very high up. And that's the point at which your reptilian brain, that stress, the amygdala, that part of the brain is really active. And your prefrontal cortex, which is really the clever bit of you, that has the intuitive sense, that is not really switched on. When we breathe deeply, we're sort of saying to the body, it's safe. And then amygdala kind of goes, oh, okay. And there's a settling down. So pausing, stopping, noticing our state of mind, stopping, taking a breath. A nice deep one. And then just being with what's there. Often our stress is caused by trying to manage our stress because it puts more thought into the system, and that's really exhausting. But in actual fact, thoughts and feelings really settle on their own when we stop trying to chase or resist them. And I think the pause allows us to do that. Just to be with what is, to notice that, and to notice it passing through, to see what I've described. Because often we're so caught up in our thinking, we can't see that it's always passing through, and that underneath that there is this calm, resilient, peaceful space, the truth of us. So next time you're caught in a whirlwind of stress, maybe just pause, take a breath, and kind of inquire, curiously, what really is there for me to fix here? And I suspect the answer is really nothing. And what if this is just a thought that is passing through? And when you're pausing, can you see that you're okay underneath it all? I remember when I had a big reaction to something. I was walking across some stepping stones. Some of you will have heard this story before. And my whole body was really not happy about being there. And I remember when I got off the stepping stones and I stood and I saw the feeling, the emotional energy moving through my body. And that for me just was so reassuring, because prior to that, I thought that was something I needed to do. But when I stopped and watched, I could see, oh, I'm the awareness watching that, and that is just moving through. There's actually nothing for me to do at all. And it's so reassuring. I think giving ourselves those opportunities to see that we are not the stress, and that the okay part of us is always there, is really, really freeing. It's just another thing we can put down, really, a big thing that many of us are carrying around with us. So I hope that's been helpful. I hope the bird's okay too. Lots of love, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in.